The moving truck left before sunset. Emily stood on the front porch of the house on Wren Street, holding a cardboard box labeled Lily's room. The wind carried the faint smell of lilac from the neighbor's yard and something metallic underneath it, like rust or old brain on iron. She told herself it was just the pipes, just the newness of the house. Jack was already inside, setting up the TV, pretending everything was normal. He'd been doing that since the accident, keeping busy, staying loud, refusing to look back. Emily couldn't blame him. Looking back hurt. The house was beautiful. 2 stories, pale yellow siding, neat white shutters. Perfect for a family. Perfect for a fresh start. Still, the silence felt wrong. Emily wandered upstairs. The nursery waited at the end of the hall, sunlight filtering through sheer curtains. She opened the box and gently set Lily's teddy bear on the windowsill. The soft brown fur looked dusty now. The stitched smile faded. For a second, she thought she heard the faint hum of Lily's lullaby, that same old music box tune, drifting through the air. But when she looked around, the room was empty. That night, she dreamed of the accident again. The sound of screeching tires, Jack's scream, her own hands reaching backward into the car seat, too late. She woke up gasping, tears wet on her cheeks. The sheets twisted around her like vines. The clock read 3:12 a.m. down the hall. The baby monitor crackled to life. At first, it was static. Then laughter. Emily froze. The small, high-pitched giggle was unmistakable. It was Lily's. The same little breathy laugh that used to echo through the house when she was alive. "Jack," Emily whispered. Shaking his shoulder, he groaned, half asleep. There's nobody there. Turn it off." She didn't move. The monitor kept whispering, the laughter turning into soft humming. The lullaby. When morning came, she tried to tell herself it had been a dream. But when she walked past the nursery, the teddy bear had fallen off the sill. It sat on the floor now, facing the doorway, as if waiting for someone. The next few days blurred together. Jack went to work and Emily unpacked boxes. The neighborhood was quiet, almost too quiet. Every lawn was perfect, every neighbor polite. Mrs. Carver, the elderly woman across the street, waved each morning from her porch, but never came closer than the sidewalk. One afternoon, Emily decided to clean the nursery windows. As she wiped the glass, she noticed faint fingerprints on the inside, small, round prints, too tiny to be hers. She pressed her hand against them. They didn't match. She tried to scrub them off, but they were beneath the surface, like they'd been there for years. That night, she heard the rocking chair moving, softly, steadily creak, creak, creak. She tiptoed down the hallway, heart pounding. The nursery door was half open, a thin beam of light from the hall cutting through the dark. The chair moved back and forth by itself, slow and patient, as though someone invisible was gently rocking. Emily's breath hitched. "Lily?" The rocking stopped. A moment later, the music box began to play, the same melody that used to put Lily to sleep. Only now, the tune was slightly off, dragging on certain notes, like an old record warped by heat. Jack appeared behind her, rubbing his eyes. It's the wind. You're exhausted." She didn't argue, but she knew what she'd heard. The way the house felt alive, like it was listening. The next morning, Emily found a faint stain on the nursery wall, a dark shape that looked like a handprint. When she tried to wipe it away, it spread slightly, sinking deeper into the paint. That evening, she asked Mrs. Carver about the house. "Oh," the old woman said, her eyes flickering. "That place. People don't stay long. Something about it never feels right." Emily pressed. "Did someone die here?" Mrs. Carver hesitated. "A child. Years ago. The mother went missing. They said she couldn't bear the loss." Emily felt her stomach twist. A child? Mrs. Carver nodded slowly. Yes, about your Lily's age. That night, Emily couldn't sleep. Every creak, every sigh of the old wood made her sit up straight. She checked the baby monitor again, nothing but static. She finally drifted off just before dawn. When she woke, sunlight was streaming in through the curtains, soft and golden. Jack was still asleep. She got up quietly, heading to the kitchen, but when she reached the bottom of the stairs, she stopped across the wooden floor. Tiny footprints trailed from the front door to the base of the staircase. Small, faint impressions of bare feet. She knelt down and touched one. It wasn't wet or dusty. It was cold. The kind of cold that felt like touching metal left. Outside in winter, her breath shuddered out of her. She looked up toward the landing. For a second, she swore she saw the outline of a little girl standing there, bathed in morning light, small still. Head tilted slightly as if studying her. Then the image flickered and vanished. By the time Jack came down, the footprints were gone. Emily, you need rest, he said gently, cupping her shoulders. You've been through hell. The mind does strange things. She wanted to believe him, but that night she heard the humming again. Not through the monitor this time, but from inside the walls. The lullaby played softly, rising and falling with the rhythm of a heartbeat. Emily pressed her ear against the plaster. For a moment, she thought she could hear breathing, shallow, fragile, like a child asleep on the other side. Then, just beneath that sound, a whisper, "Mommy." The voice was faint but unmistakable. Her chest tightened, tears burning her eyes. Lily? The air turned cold enough to frost the edge of the wallpaper. Her breath came out white in the dark. The house seemed to exhale. Jack stirred from the bedroom. But by the time he reached the hallway, Emily was standing perfectly still, staring at the wall. The music box on the shelf had stopped playing, its lid wide open. The ballerina figure frozen mid-turn. She whispered, almost to herself, "She's still here." Outside, the wind moved through the trees. Somewhere deep in the house, something shifted, a low, hollow creak that sounded almost like laughter. Emily turned toward the nursery door. It was slightly ajar again, and from inside came the faintest sound, the slow, deliberate creak of the rocking chair, moving back and forth in the dark. Jack left early for work, leaving the house too quiet. The kind of quiet that made Emily's thoughts echo. She stood in the kitchen, staring at the faint condensation on the window. For a moment, she thought she saw small handprints form in the mist, then disappear when she blinked. She laughed softly, though it didn't sound real. "Get a grip, Em," she whispered. The sound of dripping pulled her attention toward the sink. A slow, steady rhythm. She twisted the handle tightly. The dripping stopped, then started again, faster this time, as though something beneath the metal was breathing. She leaned closer and caught a faint reflection in the water pooled in the drain. It looked like a child's face. Smiling, Emily stumbled back, knocking over a glass. It shattered on the floor. When she looked again, the water was clear. The drain was empty. By noon, she couldn't focus on anything but the feeling that the house was alive, breathing through its walls. She heard faint knocks when she passed the nursery, as if something on the other side wanted to come out. That evening, Mrs. Carver called from across the street. "Emily, dear, I meant to ask, are you all right? You look pale." "I'm fine," Emily lied, glancing at the window. "Just adjusting." Mrs. Carver hesitated. "You know, that house, people say it holds on to things. Feelings, memories, sometimes worse." Emily frowned. "What do you mean, worse?" The old woman's eyes shifted toward the ground. "Grief can open doors, dear. Sometimes they don't close again." Before Emily could ask more, Mrs. Carver excused herself and hurried back inside. That night, Jack found Emily in the nursery. She was sitting on the floor, the music box open beside her. "You shouldn't be in here," he said gently. "This isn't helping." She looked up at him, eyes hollow. "She's here, Jack. I can feel her." "She's trying to find us?" Jack crouched beside her. "Emily, listen to yourself. It's been a year." The baby monitor flickered on, interrupting him. Static filled the room. Then a soft voice whispered through it, "Mommy." Jack froze. "That's her," Emily said. The voice came again, longer this time, stretching across the static. "Mommy, I'm cold." Jack slammed the monitor off, his hands shaking. "It's interference. Just a signal from another house." But neither of them slept that night. At 3:15 a.m., Emily woke to a thump in the hallway. The air smelled faintly of rain and old dust. She followed the sound to the bathroom. The mirror was fogged, though no hot water had run for hours. Slowly, words appeared in the mist, written by an unseen hand. "Don't let him take me." She backed away, her pulse pounding. Behind her, the faint hum of the lullaby began again, slow, distorted. She turned, expecting to see the music box, but it was coming from the walls. By morning, she was tearing wallpaper off in strips, convinced Lily was trapped somewhere inside. Jack came home early to find her covered in dust, whispering to the wall as though soothing a child. "Emily, stop." He grabbed her hands. "She's here. She's calling for me." He pulled her away and turned toward the wall. Behind the torn paper, the plaster was dark, almost black. It felt warm to the touch, pulsing faintly like something alive beneath it. Jack stumbled back. "Jesus, what the hell?" Emily's expression softened suddenly. "She's scared." Jack shook his head. "You need rest." That night, he dreamed of Lily, standing at the end of their old driveway, her hair wet, her dress soaked through. She said nothing, only pointed toward the house. When he woke, the bedroom door was open, and the hallway light flickered in and out like a dying bulb. He found Emily standing in the nursery again, the rocking chair moving on its own. "She wants us to stay," Emily whispered. She said this time it'll be different. Jack turned her around, gripping her shoulders. "There's nothing here, Emily. You're hearing echoes of what you lost. You're letting this place..." The monitor crackled again. Both of them turned toward it. A faint lullaby played, followed by a child's laugh. Jack swallowed hard. It's not possible." He walked to the outlet and yanked the monitor from the wall. The laughter continued for a moment, even after it was unplugged, then faded into silence. They stood there, staring at the dark screen, both breathing heavily. After that night, something inside Emily shifted. She stopped sleeping. She talked less. Sometimes Jack found her sitting at the foot of the stairs, staring at the floor as though listening to something below. Once, when he asked what she was doing, she said softly, "She's beneath us." I can hear her singing. Jack tried calling a therapist, but Emily refused. "They'll say I'm crazy," she said, her eyes unfocused. "But I know what I feel." He didn't know how to argue anymore. The house had started changing too. Shadows moved where no light should cast them. The air carried a constant low hum, like a faint vibration under the surface of everything. On Friday, when Jack returned from work, he found the living room lights flickering. Emily was upstairs. The smell of something sweet and rotten filled the air. He climbed the stairs slowly, calling her name. "Emily?" She didn't answer. The nursery door was open again. Inside, the air was colder than the rest of the house. The rocking chair moved in slow, steady rhythm. Emily was standing by the window, whispering to the glass. "She wants to come home." Jack stepped forward. The curtains fluttered, though no window was open. For a split second, he thought he saw a reflection in the glass, not of Emily, but of a small girl standing beside her. Then the image blinked out, Jack reached for her hand. It was cold as ice. "We're leaving tomorrow," he said firmly. "I'll pack tonight." Emily smiled faintly, still looking out the window. "You can't leave her." Jack shook his head. "She's gone, Emily. She's been gone for a year." Her expression hardened. "Then why does she keep coming back?" The house creaked suddenly, a long, low groan that vibrated through the floorboards. The walls seemed to pulse once, like the beat of a slow heart. Jack grabbed Emily's arm, pulling her toward the door. "We're leaving now." She resisted, eyes wide, staring past him. "Jack, what?" "She's behind you." He turned, but there was nothing, only the soft sound of the music, box playing again from somewhere deep inside the walls. Jack didn't sleep that night. He sat downstairs, lights on, the air thick and still. Just before dawn, he heard something small running across the upstairs hallway. Tiny, quick footsteps. He didn't move. The sound stopped above him. Then, very faintly, he heard the nursery door creak open. Jack woke to the sound of humming. It was faint, drifting down from upstairs, the same lullaby that had followed them since they moved in. For a moment, he thought it was Emily, until he remembered he'd locked the nursery door before bed. The air was colder than before, heavy with that metallic smell that clung to every corner of the house. The light from the hallway stretched long and thin across the floor, flickering like a candle about to die. He climbed the stairs slowly. Each step creaked, echoing in the dark. The humming grew clearer, not quite a voice, but not mechanical either. It sounded alive, like breath and melody twisted together. "Emily?" He whispered. No answer. The nursery door stood open now. Inside, the rocking chair moved gently back and forth. The curtains swayed, though the windows were closed. Emily sat by the window, her hair falling over her face, her hands folded in her lap. "Emily," Jack said, stepping closer. "What are you doing?" She didn't turn around. "She's here," she said softly. "I can feel her again. She's so close now." Jack took another step, his chest tight. "Emily, there's no one here. You're not well. We need to leave this place." Emily laughed quietly, almost lovingly. "You still don't hear her, do you?" "She's been calling you too." Jack shook his head. "Stop this," something whispered in his ear. A child's voice, barely a breath. "Daddy." He spun around. No one was there. Only the empty hallway stretching into shadow. When he turned back, Emily was standing now, her face pale but calm. "She missed you," she said. "She wants us to stay." Jack's throat went dry. "You're scaring me." "She's not angry," Emily murmured. "She's lonely." Jack moved toward her, trying to stay composed. "Emily, you have to listen. Whatever you're hearing, it's not Lily. It's this house. It's using her." Emily looked past him, her eyes suddenly wide. "She's right behind you." He turned, heart pounding. For the briefest instant, he saw a reflection in the window. A little girl standing in the doorway, head tilted slightly, her outline flickering like static. Then she was gone. Jack stumbled backward. No, this isn't real." The house gave a low groan, as if breathing in. The light dimmed, and the temperature dropped so suddenly that Jack's breath turned white. The walls seemed to tighten, the corners closing in. Emily whispered, "It's waking up." The music box started playing again, but this time the tune wasn't sweet. It was warped, discordant, each note bending like something being pulled apart. Jack grabbed her arm. "We're leaving now." She didn't move. Her eyes shimmered with tears. If we go, she'd be alone again. He pulled harder, desperate. "Emily." The front door slammed downstairs, though no wind had blown. The sound echoed like thunder through the house. Then came another sound, faint footsteps running up the stairs. Light, fast, childlike. Jack's grip faltered. The footsteps stopped just outside the nursery. The air felt charged, electric. The shadows in the doorway deepened, forming the vague shape of a small figure. "Lily?" Emily whispered. Jack froze. The figure stepped closer. No more than a shape in the dim light. Small shoulders, long hair, bare feet. The voice came again, soft as breath. "Don't let him take me, Mommy." Emily fell to her knees, sobbing. "I'm here, baby. I'm right here." Jack couldn't move. His legs felt heavy, as if the air itself had turned solid. He reached for Emily, but she didn't react. She lifted her head slowly, her eyes glazed. "She wants to stay," she said again, almost dreamlike. "She says it's safe here." Jack shook his head, voice trembling. "Emily, please. There's nothing here." You're hearing the floor beneath him creaked, one sharp, heavy crack, then silence. Then from every wall came a whisper. Not one voice, many. Low, overlapping, murmuring words he couldn't make out. The house vibrated with them. Emily covered her ears. "Stop it," she screamed. "You're scaring her." The whispers fell silent. The air grew still again. Then, softly from somewhere deep below them, a sound like a heartbeat began, slow, steady, echoing up through the floorboards. Jack stared at the ground. "What is that?" Emily smiled faintly. "It's the house. It's alive." The sound grew louder, pulsing through the walls, rattling the windows. Jack felt dizzy, his vision swimming. The air smelled faintly of smoke now, or maybe dust burning, something old stirring awake. He stumbled backward toward the door, pulling Emily with him. "We're leaving now." But the door wouldn't move. The knob refused to turn, no matter how hard he pulled. It felt as if something on the other side was holding it shut behind him. The rocking chair started again. Creak, creak. The melody rose, building to a dissonant hum. Jack turned. The chair was empty. Then he realized the humming wasn't coming from the chair anymore. It was coming from Emily. Her lips moved softly, singing the lullaby. But her voice wasn't her own. It was smaller, higher, childlike. Jack's blood ran cold. "Emily." She looked at him slowly, her eyes unfocused, voice still sweet but wrong. "Daddy, don't leave." "Stop it," he shouted, shaking her shoulders. "You're not her." The light flickered once more, and everything stopped. The humming, the rocking, the sound of the heartbeat. Then Emily blinked, her expression soft again. "She's gone," she whispered. "She's home now." Jack stared at her, not understanding that the silence that followed was heavy, almost peaceful. He took a step back. "Emily, what do you mean home?" She turned to the window, looking out toward the empty street. "She never left, Jack. None of them do." He frowned. "None of who?" Before he could finish, the house gave one last long groan, deep and hollow, like an exhale of relief. The floor trembled beneath his feet. The lights flickered once, then went out. When they came back on, Emily was gone. Only the rocking chair moved gently. Back and forth. Jack called her name again and again, his voice breaking the silence. But the house gave no answer, only that soft creak, and the faint sound of a lullaby from somewhere far below. Days later, the real estate agent arrived to check the property. The house was spotless. The walls had been repainted. Everything smelled faintly of lilac and fresh air. "Such a lovely place," the young couple said as they signed the papers. "Perfect for our little girl." Across the street, Mrs. Carver watched from her porch. The wind lifted her gray hair as she whispered to no one, "They always come back." As the new family stepped inside, the door closed gently behind them for a moment. The house was silent. Then, from somewhere upstairs, came the sound of a child laughing, light, distant, and impossibly familiar. The music box began to play again, and the house on Wren Street breathed in.
Please like and subscribe channel Fear Frequency for more horror stories. Thank you.